What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Variant the Podcast. I'm Arris with Tim Connolly.
What's going on, Variant Nation? What is going on, my good friend and now comic book author?
I know, it's out.
Arris Quinones.
It is out. It is in the world. That is the big announcement.
That's right. So not only are you my partner in crime now you're an actual comic book writer.
I know, right? It's
There'll be no living with you now.
I'm a real boy now.
That's right.
I'm in the industry now, Tim.
Excuse me. I should know. I've written a comic. That's what I'm going to be getting.
Do you have that Dark Horse insignia on something? I don't think so.
Have you seen my resume? Then shut up.
No, but yeah, the 28th, May 28th, we made a big announcement that I have co-written and co-created a book called Astonishing Times with my magnificent co-writer, Frank Barbiere, and our amazing artist, Ruairí Coleman, colorist Lauren Fay, the whole entire creative team. I couldn't have been more happy and, lucky to have worked with them. It's just insane.
You really did luck out with an amazing creative team to partner up with.
Not only their talent, though, they're just such nice, ladies and gents.
Yeah,
you know
cool
what I mean?
People to work with.
For real.
And that's like 3/4 of the battle a lot of the time.
I know, especially, the artists. That's kind of a thing where, it sounds so dumb saying, but in the industry, I hate using that, but I've learned, even though it's my first book, I've learned by working with Frank, who's done several stuff, Superboy, stuff for Image, Marvel, all that stuff, Avengers World, that it's really hard to find an artist to get pages in on time, let alone one that communicates well and is a pleasure to work with.
Yeah.
And as we start talking about that on Variant and stuff like that, we actually went through a few artists before we got Ruairí.
That's right.
That was kind of the battle out the gate. It took us a while to find a good artist. So all that's to come in the coming months here.
Yeah, as we said. So that was of course, we've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks here on the show and on the main channel. We were telling all of you guys that we had a big announcement coming. We're very excited about it. And that's what May 28th was all about, the announcement of Astonishing Times, this new comic book that has been written by Arris and Frank and Ruairí, and is being distributed by, it's a ComiXology Original. So it's going to be a digital only release
at first
on July 27th, and then it's going to be in print as a collected trade paperback later on in the year, hopefully
end of this year, beginning of next.
Okay, cool. So that is now out in the world.
It's crazy.
As we told you guys in the big announcement episode on the 28th, if you haven't seen it, by the way, you can go check that out. We'll put links in the description of this video.
Click.
Yeah, of this episode, so you can make sure to go and watch that and get all the fun details. But we are going to be continuing to roll out more and more on this comic. So just so everybody understands how this works and kind of how we're wording everything. So Arris partnered with Frank and Ruairí and the creative team, and they wrote that comic book together, and their work, they actually went and signed a deal with ComiXology to make that one of their ComiXology Originals.
There you go.
And yeah, there we go. And then Variant here as our brand under Triune Films, we're partnering with them as the creative team and ComiXology to bring all of you guys, the Variant Nation, who really, at its core is spearheading all of this as a possibility.
Oh, for sure.
And making this even a possibility to bring out to the world. So we're going to be using our platform here to kind of bring you guys along for the journey as much as we physically can, leading up to the release of issue 1 on July 27th, and then continuing to do so. And, we want to bring you guys as much as they will allow. And by they, I mean the creative team. I'm going to try and suck as much out of them as I possibly can.
We own this IP. We rule this roost. No, but, going off of what you just said, make no mistake, this would have only happened. We would have only got this deal and, be able to make a real comic book with ComiXology, obviously, first and foremost, and then even a partnership through Dark Horse after that for physical print books. This would have never happened without the Variant Nation. You know what I mean? No, this is my first foray into the world, and just being the host of Variant for all these years, meeting hosts and, building the channel and growing and stuff, all that allowed, me to be able to do that with, all these people making acquaintance and stuff. So again, first and foremost, I said it in, the announcement video, and I'll keep saying it on here and any other video, we make talking about Astonishing Times. this book is for you guys. You know what I mean? This is your book as much as it is mine or Frank's, because it's like a love letter to superheroes too, right? For people who don't know, it's, you know, it's like a reverse Watchmen is the easiest way to spin it, where if Watchmen deals with, like, you know, superheroes and stuff, or, you know, we look up to them and stuff, but they also have a lot of own demons that they deal with and stuff like that. Ours is like awesome, but at the cart we like superheroes because they are like that that hope and something to aspire to be. So, you know, we took everything we loved from, you know, manga, superheroes, all the nerdy properties that we all love, Power Rangers, Dragon Ball, all that stuff. It's all in there. It literally is a love letter. People even caught on to the whole Infinite when we said, they're like, he's basically like a living spirit bomb. We're like, exactly. That's exactly what he is. You nailed it on it. Correct, friends. That's like a little spin on it. So, you know, we very much hope that you guys dig it when it hits the interweb, July 27th.
Absolutely. And it's like, you know, for us here at Variant, that is basically how we see everything that we do, whether it's side projects, right, that Arris is involved in, or myself, or what have you, anything that we're going to bring to you guys, we see kind of everything as being for you, the Variant Nation. We are just constantly and eternally grateful for the opportunities that have been provided, because all of you have come along with us for this ride, right? So, you know, everything that we do from Astonishing Times and going forward, it's all going to be with you guys in mind. But let me be among the first people to congratulate you on getting this out and getting this done. I know this is a huge dream for you.
Crazy.
We've been talking about this for 10 years, literally.
Legitimately.
I mean, like, we haven't said this publicly, but this is some stuff that we have talked about here behind the scenes amongst our team internally for about a decade. So to see it come to life is pretty remarkable and a crap ton of fun.
A lot of fun.
And I'm very excited, even though it's going to be a very busy time over the next couple of months. I'm really, really excited for all the fun things we have in store to talk about what you guys have written, the story you guys have put together, the world that you've built, which I will say from experience, I've kind of been a sidecar writer.
Yeah, you know all the twists and turns.
Along the ride of the creation of all of this stuff, and I got to see it kind of evolve and grow and develop and all of that stuff. And I'm going to tell you guys, it's a good one. They did a good job. These guys have written a really fun book with really great characters, one of which is my personal favorite. I'll reserve that for now. that I really, really liked right from the get. Literally from the day that he walked in the office, like, dude, we came up with a new character. You got to see this.
And show the concept art.
Yeah, and I saw the concept art. I was like, oh, that's the one right there. That's the one.
He's a good one.
Yeah, but big congratulations to you, Frank, Rui. You guys earned it. You deserve it.
Thank you.
Really happy for you guys. And going forward, as we roll this comic book out, one of the things that you all are going to see, and it's kind of one of the things that I love, and you just hinted at it right now, is that this book, at its core, is about hope.
Yes, 100%.
Right?
That is like the main theme.
And we have talked about that ad nauseum here on the channel, both the podcast and the main show. That's something that's really big on our end, you know, that we really like about comics. We'd like to see more of. It's one of the things we really liked about, you know, DC's return to, you know, it's with Rebirth. Yeah. Its return to kind of its classic storylines.
We're such big Superman fans,
That's
too,
right? Exactly.
He's that symbol for, you know, DC.
Yeah. And so I think that you guys really chose a great theme and some great anchors for these stories that is going to be, you know, it's especially in our time that we're in now, right? You're seeing all of stuff, even now, in storytelling, just kind of across the board, because people are dealing with a lot of anxieties. There's a lot of crazy in the world.
Right.
You're seeing a lot of dark storylines, right? And I think that there's a vacuum and a need for stories that are hopeful and optimistic. And so I think you guys use some great anchors that are going to be very attractive to readers as this book rolls out.
I hope so. And you're not, you know, going off that, you're not the only one to say that. In our announcement video, I saw several people actually say that. They're like, this is, you know, in a time where you see like the evil version of Superman and all this stuff, they're like, it's good to kind of get back to like the core of why we like superheroes in the first place, and that's because, again, they give us hope and stuff like that. Because you wouldn't have the evil versions of all these characters without the basic, like, you know, you only get those versions because it's like, okay, we have this, but now it's fun to flip it.
Exactly.
Right? But now we want to go back to the, you know, explore the hope, and it's just, I don't know, it just seems like the right time and stuff like that, and it's what I do, what I like about superheroes so much. Sure,
Yeah.
I love like the injustice and
Yeah.
the evil versions and all that stuff, but at its core, why even like as kids do we like subconsciously are attracted to these people in capes?
Yeah.
It's because they're like, oh, I wish I could save people. I wish I could make the world a better place. You know, because again, the one of the main themes of the book is people are inherently good.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like going to that, which I hope it resonates, you know, with people.
I think so too. I think you're going to find that a lot of people are going to relate to, at bare minimum, the need or the desire to start looking optimistically at a future that can be. Right. I think for a lot of years now, too many, and it's gotten worse over the last few years, we spent a lot of time, not just here in the United States, but kind of globally, we spent a lot of time focusing on negative.
Yeah,
the
for
dark
sure.
corners of humanity.
For sure.
Right. And if you look back throughout history, when human beings collectively, when we focus too much on the dark, the negative, bad things that have happened or could happen, or things that people do, or the way people are that we don't like, and we just turn towards this very negative, pessimistic outlook, it gets real dark real fast.
Oh, for sure.
It's some of the uglier times in history where there's a lot of death, a lot of destruction, a lot of misery, right? It's when we start looking to, not because, there's all these incredible, examples of great things happening, but instead we choose to look for the good that can be, the good that we are capable of, and then look to draw that out of each other. And, again, it's that whole like lean on love sort of a thing, right? When we do that, that is when we can actually move forward. Because the pessimism and the constant negativity and all this kind of stuff, and the focusing on the ugly and the dark and all that kind of stuff, it either stands us directly in place or it puts us backwards.
Well, it's kind of like one of the lines that is directly.
Don't give away too much now.
Well, we already said the announcement video. It's one of my favorite lines that Frank and I came up with for the book. I won't say where it's placed, but it's in the series where one of the characters says, we look up for a better tomorrow, not for someone to save us, but just for in the hopes of a better tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's that right there where it's here, because everyone thinks like heroes, like they're there to save you. Yes, but you're not necessarily trying to be them. You're trying to be like them in that sense, where they're the symbol to strive for that. Because you're never, gonna be an alien from this other planet and can fly, but you could do your part to be like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I hope again that people dig it. It's weird being on this side of it, right? Like I've been talking to you about it, where it's so weird. Like from every aspect, we're reading the comments and people guessing like what this character is gonna do. Who's the villain? Where's the villain? What's this? And this guy's in the teaser trailer, like this guy's already dead and stuff like that. But it's funny knowing where everything's going and being on this side. And I will say there was one person out of like, I think that by now there's like 1,500 comments or something like that. But there was one comment that I read that this person got it right.
Nailed it.
One. He at least where the story's going. He nailed what this arc is going to be about, and I'm like, all right, well, that's good for you. You're going to be pleasant. You're going to be like, I did it when you read it. You're like, I did it. He might not know everything, but he's going to know the main. He guessed the main direction.
Well done, that Variant Nation member. When it happens, you'll know.
But most people, I'd say 90% of people were so very wrong, and there's going to be some surprises.
And that's that is one of the most interesting things about all this, right? Is that all the things we're constantly talking about when we talk about other stories, right?
Yes.
Other comics from the major publishers or independent or what have you. We're always talking about like, this is our opinion. This is just how I personally see it. And we emphasize the subjective nature of critiquing other people's stories.
For sure.
Like I can say whatever I want, but that doesn't make it accurate. The only person that really is going to know are the creators in terms of like intention and so forth, right? And so to be on this side of it, where like you can actually say, okay, there's like 7 million theories and opinions.
It's so weird.
It's like it doesn't matter because the creators know the direction of the story. So yeah, it's a ton of fun. But again, congratulations, man. I couldn't be happier for you guys. It's in this book to come out and for the world to see it.
It's kind of surreal, right? Because it's like it's out there, and people have, been very positive. The reactions have been extremely kind.
Extremely positive,
Even to like, people have just been watching the show, for so long. I've been hosting the channel from the beginning. So like, they're just happy for me personally, which just, I'm like, good on you, internet. See, my book was right. People are inherently good. But no, it's just so cool. I just want to say thank you to everyone. And I hope, Frank, Ruairí, and the whole creative team deliver. Now I feel like the pressure's on.
It is, buddy.
I hope you like it.
I've told Arris several times, it's like, hey man, it's about to happen. Now don't suck.
But it's also cool going to the creator thing, because one of the main things in it, we created a character called Infinite, right? Who, his power is infinite. That's why he's just called Infinite, right? So he gets his power from all living things, whether it has thought or not, sentient or not.
Right.
Therefore, his whole intention was to be stronger than Superman, Goku. And some people were like, but it's funny being on that side where it's like, no, like literally one of the co-creators, like our intent was to make this character, stronger than these characters. Now that's not to say,
that's what you set out to do from the beginning.
That's what we set out to do, but that's not this. So people were like, it's just funny going in that realm, because it's not to say like Superman, right? Though he's the strongest, doesn't mean he wins every time, right? But at the end of the day, if you're doing like an arm wrestling contest, I think Infinite's going to take it. I'm saying it again.
That's some high strung words right there. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait for the debates.
That's what I think's fun about it, right?
I can't wait for the debates, because you got the infamous Goku versus Superman, who's more powerful, right?
Or like Omni-Man now with the Invincible Universe, Homelander. Right. So now that was kind of the whole point. When Frank and I were developing this character, we're like, we want to throw Infinite into that mix. We want him in the Goku category, the Superman, the Omni-Man, Homelander, like in that world where they're like, who's stronger? And we're the creators, and our intent was to make him stronger. But comics, right?
Yeah, and I will say, you're going to have those debates that are going to occur. But one thing I will tell everybody, without saying anything, I feel like I have to be careful of spoilers because I know everything.
Don't you dare, Tim! Don't you dare!
Don't worry, I'm just going to be the moderator, just trying to get them to tell you. I will. There's always the edit button. You know what I mean? But the one thing that you guys will see, or I will tell you, is that this book is not what you think.
Not at all.
So
not at all.
In the sense of, it is a superhero story.
100%.
It's a superhero universe with
sure.
superheroes, and you're gonna get all of that stuff. But it teases you, and it goes in different directions, and it will surprise you on a number of fronts.
After seeing all the comments and stuff, of course I had to, because all 5 issues are done, right? So it's done. So I had to go back into my files, and I was looking particularly at the last 2 issues, which is 4 and 5. And obviously I knew where I was going, but like it's, reading it and seeing, the visual storytelling. So I'm like, oh, this, okay. Yeah, I do like this. I do. Yes. Okay. This is why we made this, because, but I'm trying not to say too much.
Yeah.
But I think people will be surprised.
Yeah.
I'll leave it. I don't want to say anything yet.
Yeah. And I think the response that we got, when we announced it, the response that from the audience, the reason it was so positive is, I think, on top of there's a resonation that's coming in regard to the tone of the story. I think that's a big piece. But I think the other thing is that, there's a sense in terms of the overall story of like, oh, this could be interesting. I think you guys did a really, really good job with the story.
I'm so close to
and
it.
Then
that, like,
the teaser trailer, I think, did a really good job of setting up like kind of the tone of the book.
Right.
And so I think the audience is picking up like, there might be something here that actually is different and fun and new, but that they'll be a part of right from the get.
Well, that was like the whole thing, right? To make something new but still familiar. And that's a hard thing to do, especially in this genre. So I'm hoping, again, that we pulled it off and people dig it. But it's like, as much as I love it and believe in it, obviously, I'm kind of detached in the sense where it's like, you see it so much and you're constantly working the script and you're talking to your co-creators like, should we do this? Should we do that? And we change it. And you're just in it so much that you don't know if it's cool anymore because you're constantly staring at it.
Yeah, correct.
So it's like, it just becomes so like, you're just so used to it in that sense where like the twists and turns where you're like, I've done this so many times, I don't know if it works. So you're hoping, but we'll see. Again, I'm like, I don't want to be the one to. I mean, we got the edit button, but I don't want to be the one to be like blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
Tom Holland over here.
I will say it's very good. It's very good. You guys, I think, are gonna love it just like I do. I can say that because I'm not one of the creators, and I won't sound like a douchebag narcissist.
It's the best thing that's ever hit comics.
But I can tell you, as an one of the people that I was not part of the creative team from the outside, I was part of it as a reader, an observer, watched it evolve, and all that kind of stuff. I think you guys are going to really, really dig this story. And it's, as the 5 issues roll out, I'm so stoked for the conversations and us being able to come on the show here.
I was going to say that.
Talk about it almost like a Talking Dead sort of a thing, where we'll be talking Astonishing Times and what happened in the last issue, and all of that's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, first off, thank you for the kind words, Tim.
Thank you.
I'm glad you dig it.
You know I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it.
That's definitely
if anyone
true.
knows that, Arris knows it.
That is definitely true. I'm excited to get, like Ruairí on here, Frank on here, Lauren on here, because it's just going to be, because I want to talk about what goes into it. Because that was part of the things with us too. It's like, now that within, the Variant family here, we have something that we could just go have all access to.
Absolutely.
We could just dive into it completely. So, and I know there's a lot of people that want to know how to get into storytelling and stuff like that. Because again, this is my first comic book, so this was a huge learning curve for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I learned a lot from this book. So to be able to, give my perspective as being, a noob in the industry. This was my first book, and then more seasoned people like Frank and definitely Ruairí, who've worked on Star Wars, Ninja Turtles, all this stuff. So it's really, really. You're going to get all the perspectives. You're going to get the fresh meat, me. You're going to get the veteran perspective, which would be Ruairí and Frank from, the artistic side, the writing side, and even, coloring and all that stuff from Lauren. So it's going to be really, really fun.
It is going to be fun.
Into
and I can tell you.
Why did you make this character?
I got questions. I got questions. I want to hear from all these guys. And we're excited to do it in front of all of you guys. And on top of that, so this is going to be, for you guys that are the podcast listeners, we'll give you a little bit of an inside scoop of what we're going to be doing over the next couple of months.
Thank you for listening.
As a thank you for being part of our little podcast world here. Over the next 5 months, as the book rolls out, 5-6 months, we're going to be doing some deep dives on the characters in the book as individual episodes on the main channel. We're going to be doing some roundtable discussions with the creative team that you just talked about here on the podcast and on the main channel. We're going to set up some live Q&As with the entire creative team.
I'm excited for the lives.
So you guys can be a part of that and get your questions in. And even when we're doing some pre-recorded stuff with the creative team, as we lay out some, maybe some inside looks at the books themselves, maybe
some exclusive pages.
Yeah, maybe some exclusive pages, maybe some concept art. Yeah. So we'll as we do that stuff, we'll also be pulling questions from all of you from our social media platforms and so forth, so that you guys can get some questions into the end. I will make sure that they answer all of them. I promise.
It's so because we have obviously the books, the first arc is done, so we have all the covers and everything. It's I want to show it so bad.
I know,
but it's
that's got to be tough.
I know it's weird, especially I think issue 5 is a freaking dope one, obviously, but they're not gonna see that till November.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Maybe a little before, month before we'll solicit the cover, but they're still not gonna see it till 4 months or something like that. So it's and there's so many pages and stuff that's because right now we're only showing what we showed in the teaser trailer, right? Which is basically the cover and a few select pages that we plucked out.
You tried to throw a little bit of extra,
I did,
and I had to rope you back
because it was so cool. It was so cool. Although there's my favorite. I think
he's like, what about this picture? Can we put this picture? No, let's not do that.
Let's hold on.
No, let's hold on. We'll put that one in another one.
There's this one thing. There's one page that I love that shows off Infinite's energy effect, and I just can't wait to see, especially the color we chose for it.
It's gonna be cool, man. It's gonna be cool. And what's also interesting? We're always talking about on the show for the last year, over the past year, always talking. We're constantly talking about other projects and other people's projects that got hiccuped because of the pandemic and all the things of last year. And Astonishing Times was one of those things that got pushed a little bit.
It did.
So it experienced some of the same stuff. So when you've been hearing us with the frustration a little bit of dude, this freaking thing is killing everything.
Well, we could actually share that now since we already announced it. This book was actually supposed to be announced at 2020 San Diego Comic-Con.
San Diego Comic-Con.
Live there.
That's right.
Me, the whole creative team, Tim, all Variant was going to be there.
That's
we were going to have
right.
a booth at ComiXology's booth. We were going to announce it there, but we have some exclusive prints.
Mm-hmm.
But as you know, the world got shut down.
Yeah, that was, and again, we'll probably elaborate on this in the future, but that was probably last year. That was one of the big disappointments. Because we had an entire game plan laid out. We were going to announce
still a
this
bummer
early.
thing. I hate talking about it.
I don't even like thinking about it that much. Because we were going to announce this to all of you guys in May, that there was a big special announcement coming in July at San Diego Comic-Con, and we were going to both invite you to meet us there and to join us there live, but also we were going to be live streaming it. But we didn't get to do it.
No.
But having said that, while that's a major bummer, that just you can take that and know that is going to happen eventually.
Oh, for sure.
There's going to be something else where we get to do that, and it may in the future. As this book rolls out, we may get to do something even Astonishing Times centric at a con. We know cons are coming back.
Yeah, I know.
So we'll see what the future holds. There's no plans as of right now, but as everything's kind of slowly getting back.
Right.
But
hey, man, we'll have that physical trade to be pushing soon. So
that's right. So who knows what the future holds? It was a little bittersweet, but so we'll get to that in the future at one point.
But so that was definitely going off. That was a big. I remember me telling like, of course, this was it was.
That was a punch to the nuts.
Yeah, that and there was obviously no sign. Things I know we're getting cons at the end of this year, like slowly ramping up, but who knows? Like I said, no plans at this time. Maybe beginning of
because the cons that are coming back, they're coming back like half speed,
right?
Very small.
But even like doing I would love to do a meet and greet or signing at like a Midtown Comics, Golden Apple, something like that, or it's like, hey, come on down, get a trade. We'll all sign the books.
Know. Yeah, who knows, man? Maybe if the push comes to shove, we'll set something up ourselves.
We
got plenty of ability to do that.
We can.
We're gonna figure this stuff out as we kind of roll along and everything starts getting back to normal, and because we're still getting a gauge and a bearing on all of it ourselves,
for sure.
So once we do that, then the in-person stuff will all those opportunities will emerge as well.
I have to imagine at the rate things are going now, 2022 will be pretty much 100% back to normal. Yeah. So
for sure.
Thank God.
As long as we have no hiccups, then that would be definitely my anticipation. I would say even by Christmas,
right? For
the most part, things will probably be normal
for sure. But anyway, Astonishing Times, first book that I've ever co-wrote.
That's right.
Co-created with Frank Barbiere, Ruairí Coleman, my lovely peers.
And it is available right now
on ComiXology.
Yeah, you don't have to wait till July 27th to grab your copy. You can pre-order it. Yeah, for pre-order it right now on ComiXology. It doesn't release until July 27th, but you can grab and make sure you secure your copy of it.
It'll download automatically while you're sleeping.
First thing in the morning.
And you'll have it in the morning on your iPad, your phone, tablet, whatever.
You'll wake up to it just like a beautiful wife.
And it's 34 pages. Wow.
Or spouse or whatever.
And it's 34 pages, so it's extra size.
That's right.
So it's only $2.99, and you get like an extra 10 pages.
Yep.
So we put some meat on the front end.
We'll throw the link where you can pre-order that in the description of this episode. So make sure you click on that, get that locked in. It's gonna be dope.
Yeah. But moving on, Tim, we got some Spider-Man news.
It's some pretty big Spider-Man news, I might add.
So
it shocked the crap out of me.
It was crazy.
I was like, what?
But it's another Spider-Man solo villain movie. Craven the Hunter. We knew this was in the works for a little while now. It's been rumored for a long time.
It was, but like this, I was like, shut the front door.
But we finally found our Craven.
Dude.
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Dude.
Quicksilver himself.
I would not have guessed that, but let me tell you something. And Boss Logic did the concept work for it, and they put it out with it, which I love that they've partnered with him.
He's doing like everything now. Like he's doing a lot of stuff. Good for him.
But people are like partnering with him to have him do it, so they release. It's part of the release,
right? Yeah.
Now, and it just adds such a cool element to it because you really get a look at what this character might look like, with this particular actor. And man, such a good casting. And
I love. He's a great actor.
The concept art that Boss Logic did, he looks ridiculously cool as Craven.
Awesome.
Ridiculously
very,
cool.
very cool.
I was like, yes, please, and a side of fries.
It's gonna be so interesting though if Spider-Man No Way Home reveals that there's this big Spider-Verse and Tom Holland is like basically moving over to the Sony side of things,
dude.
Because it's like now he's facing Aaron Taylor Johnson, Craven, who was also Quicksilver in the MCU. So like the face is familiar, but is that like going to be like Elseworlds multiverse stuff where it's like
that's what I was wondering.
Like he's Quicksilver in this world, but in this world he's Craven.
That was the first freaking thing I said. I was like, dude, I said it to my wife because she was sitting there next to me when it came up, and I was like, are they gonna go full multiverse? And they specifically cast him because this is that character in another world who is an enemy of Spider-Man.
Interesting.
I mean, because it's like, what are you doing? Right? You've got Morbius coming out. All right. Okay. In the Spider-Verse, you've got now Craven coming out. We know we've already got Venom 2 coming out here in a couple months.
Which is also introducing Carnage.
Exactly. So we've got Carnage coming, plus a couple other symbiotes are being introduced in one way or another.
Toxin apparently might be making his debut. Yep.
Shriek. So you've got they're doing all of this stuff, developing as if they're preparing to integrate Spider-Man. And you've got to integrate Spider-Man at some point.
Because he's all his rogues galleries here.
Exactly.
All of his rogues.
So either they know they're getting the MCU's Spider-Man integrated into what they're doing, or they know we're not making any more deals with Disney and we're going to be introducing our own Spider-Man. It's one or the other, right? The deal they have with Disney, they can't make a separate Spider-Man movie.
But it's like at this point, like Spider-Man's been rebooted so many, like, so we got Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
And now Holland, right?
My grumble there is the very thought of them rebooting Spider-Man after Holland,
live action Spider-Man, yeah,
and it just being the track record's not good. It's what I'm saying.
Well, Tom Holland is just so he's perfect.
He's perfect in the role. I mean, there's a lot of people that argue that point.
A lot of people
that don't like him as Spider-Man or the MCU's version of Spider-Man. And
I would think though the majority of people would agree that Holland is the best out of the three.
I would say probably majority. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't understand this group. I mean, they kind of fall into the camp of people that don't like Marvel movies. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them. But I'm also like, have you never read like a classic Peter Parker Spider-Man story?
Dude, I was just watching.
It's almost identical.
I was just watching Infinity War the other day. I had it on in the living room, and the part where they're fighting Thanos on his world on Titan and stuff like that, and Spider-Man comes in, magic with a kick. More magic. I'm like, that is the most Spider-Man thing ever.
It really is.
Like he's perfect.
I've never really understood the people that complain about him as Spider-Man.
No, I don't know. And then his relationship with like that father-son,
with Tony Stark,
where he's clearly like the kid. It's just like, no, that's Peter Parker. What do you mean?
Yeah.
He's the goofy, like freaking, trash talking, joke making web slinger. Like that's what he does. He's like a G-rated Deadpool in that sense.
It's so good. But I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion, right? Yeah. And that's fine. It goes into that subjective camp that we were just talking about. But I can't, with them now introducing and officially, confirming, okay, we're doing a Craven movie, and you've got Taylor Johnson on board as Craven. I'm just like, okay.
He's probably going to get jacked too. Like he's probably going to put on some meat.
He's not that tall of a guy, but he's going to put some.
I could see him getting pretty stocky.
With the long hair. Oh, it looked great. It looked like freaking Craven the Hunter met Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah. Almost like a really a wilderness.
A Stark.
Like a Jon Snow, like just on steroids.
Well, it reminded me of what's the dad's name? Stark, the father Stark.
Oh my gosh.
What's his first name?
Oh,
Rob Stark? No,
that's the brother. That's the.
Oh man!
Oh my goodness!
Now people are right now angry and yelling at us. They're yelling at their screen, whatever.
What the freak? Oh my god! This is gonna be.
We know what we're talking about.
Not
winter is coming. That's what.
Ned Stark.
Okay, so Ned Stark. Is it? Did you confirm this?
I actually,
because I'm having a full-blown brain fart.
Yeah, no, Ned Stark.
Okay, Ned Stark. All right, we have confirmation. It is Ned Stark.
Ned Stark.
And everyone in the audience is going, yeah, we know. So it reminded me of him. It reminded me of Ned Stark.
You're making me want to pull up
as Craven the Hunter.
Instagram again.
It's freaking dope.
Because I saw it, but like,
oh, it's freaking dope.
Now I need to see it again.
I'm stoked. But again, going back to it, the very idea that they're introducing this on top of Morbius and everything else they've got going. I mean, come on, look
Yeah, I
at
pulled
that.
it up. Yeah, that's great.
Look at that.
That's great.
That's ridiculous. And I know you guys are listening to us and not seeing us just yet, which, by the way, video
It's coming back soon.
Video is back very soon. We are in the process of getting everything set back up. We're still acclimating and readjusting to getting back into the regular workflow here in studio. So pardon our dust for just a week more or so.
Just go on Insta, type Boss Logic, you'll see it.
It's freaking amazing. But with them doing this much stuff around Spider-Man, they already know that they're going to be integrating the MCU's version of Spider-Man into what they're doing, or they know that they're discontinuing their relationship with Disney, or they're not re-upping, and they're just going to be moving forward. Based on the way Tom Holland has addressed it, I can't see Tom Holland just full on leaving Marvel Studios and going over to Sony and just continue to be Spider-Man. I think that if they don't re-up the deal, I don't think that he continues to Spider-Man.
I just want a trailer for No Way Home so bad, because I want these rumors to be, either proven true or to be debunked already. I just want to, because
you think we're gonna find out in the trailer?
I hope so. Because that would be the biggest tease. Just something little.
Maybe something at the end of the trailer.
Just you hear Tobey Maguire's voice. You don't even see him. You just hear him or something. Nuts. You know what I mean? Something just to the effect where gives us some sense of, oh, you are exploring the Spider-Verse here. You know what I mean? Could you imagine if this whole time they actually went full Spider-Verse and Spider-Gwen is in it and we don't even know? Ghost Spider or something.
In my heart of hearts, that's what I am hoping for and want. Dude. I mean, obviously, that's what I want.
But not only that, they get Emma Stone.
Oh, my God.
Because she was Gwen Stacy, right?
She was
to be freaking Ghost Spider / Spider-Gwen.
Well, wasn't in Spider-Man 3, wasn't Bryce Dallas Howard?
She was
Gwen Stacy?
Yes.
Was that Gwen Stacy?
I'm pretty
her
sure.
Character?
Yeah.
I'm having...
No. She was Black Cat. She was...
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, she was Black Cat.
You're right. She looked like Gwen Stacy.
She did,
though.
with the blonde hair and all that stuff and the headband. Yeah,
she looked like her.
Yeah.
Which is whatever.
Yeah.
Well, we know Emma Stone for sure was Gwen Stacy.
Emma Stone was Gwen Stacy.
So if they did something, man, I am so curious. I'm so curious. As I know you are.
Tom Holland, apparently, he was answering a DM on the Instagram, and apparently the movie studios, not the movie studios, the movie theaters have the trailer.
Oh, really?
They have the trailer. So within the next 2 weeks.
Is it going to go in front of Black Widow?
No one knows. They said within the next 2 weeks, it'll be out. He said he doesn't know when, but it should be out to the world within 2 weeks.
What would they put it in front of?
I don't know.
Black Widow's the first big
they didn't
Disney
put the
movie
Eternals trailer or Shang-Chi trailer anywhere. They just put it out.
Yeah, well, he's saying the theaters.
He did. That's true. So I don't know. But he said that the movie theaters have it.
Disney doesn't have any, because Cruella dropped. They dropped Cruella on the 28th.
And Black Widow's too far out because that's July.
Yeah, that's July.
That's a month.
There's nothing in June, right? I don't think so.
I mean, but it's also Tom Holland, so I kind of take it with a grain of salt because he's got we love him, but he's a blabbermouth, and sometimes they probably give him wrong information on purpose. He's the trailer's totally coming out. Meanwhile, it's not coming out for 2 months.
Who knows? But I am very curious to see if they give us anything or if they just keep stringing us along. We'll see. But I am so stoked about this Craven movie.
That's a fantastic casting. Plus, Craven, you know what? It's weird because one of my favorite Spider-Man stories of all time is Craven's Last Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm but you need Spider-Man for that story.
Exactly my
point.
So
I'm well, you kind of need Craven. I mean, you could go and do his origin, and be show how he becomes, obsessed with hunting.
Doing with Morbius.
And then at the end of it, it's oh, I've accomplished everything. I've searched for all. I mean, I've captured and hunted the fiercest, animals in the animal kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
The only one left is Spider-Man now. You know what I mean? Because that's the whole reason why he goes after Spider-Man, to be the ultimate challenge for him. So if it ends and sets up that the next movie he's gonna go after Spider-Man, that would be dope.
That would be dope.
Yeah.
I would be exponentially more excited
Mm-hmm.
if we find out that this is going to be happening.
That'd be cool.
Under
Like
some level of Kevin Feige's tutelage.
He that would be dope. Like at the end of the movie, he gets like a newspaper from New York and talking about like from the Daily Bugle, talking about this wall crawler and this menace, and you know, and he's like, oh, that's it. That's my next target. You know,
or we see him like getting on a boat.
Yeah, going at the webhead. man,
I don't know.
But you need Spider-Man to bring out, because these character villains are awesome and all, but Spider-Man's what brings them together.
That's my point.
You have to bring Spider-Man in eventually.
And they have to know. They obviously know that.
Yeah.
So it's like they are clearly setting up for something, and we already know we get Michael Keaton is appearing in the Morbius.
Vulture,
that is such a key
Vulture,
to all of this. So they told us pretty much there's crossover happening here.
What if it's like it's a complete reverse, and they're setting all this stuff, and then they're jumping over into the MCU? Could you imagine?
I mean, either way, fans aren't going to care.
No, but that would just be a funny way of doing things.
We would care because it would be better.
Yeah, it would,
not because it's Disney versus Sony, but because that means that it'll all be falling under Kevin Feige's roadmap.
Although I would like to see a Venom movie. The Venom movie was fun. I thought it was fun. I liked it. But I would have liked to see it under, the guiding hand of Feige, what he would have done with Venom.
And we'll see what they do with this Venom too.
It looks fun too. It looks fun as well.
And I'm very curious to see what my boy does with it. My boy Andy Serkis. This is his big director. He's directed other films, but this is his real big first blockbuster tentpole film. So I'm very curious to see what he does with it.
I think it's gonna be dark.
I mean,
it
looks pretty dark.
Yeah, I mean the trailer gives a weird tone of like comedy, but I feel like they only show snippets and stuff. That doesn't really give the whole thing. So I think it's going to be. I mean, it kind of has to though. With Carnage, you would be doing a disservice to the story if you don't have a dark story with Carnage in it. That's the thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Like technically, this movie should be R. Like if you were going to do it the way the comics do it, it would be R, for sure.
Yes, just for the depth, the morbid horror elements.
You're talking about a guy who puts like power drills through puppies' heads. Like
he's gross.
Yeah, throwing his grandmother down the stairs, like all that stuff.
I mean, I will say PG-13 movies now, man, they do get pretty heavy.
With a lot.
Yeah, they get pretty heavy-handed. So I don't know. We might get some stuff.
Yeah. In summary, though, we think Aaron Taylor Johnson is a great. Did I say his name right? Aaron Taylor Johnson? Yeah, there we go.
Taylor Johnson.
Aaron Taylor Johnson. There we go. Make it shorter. Anyway, we think he's a great pick.
Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, for Craven. And I'm curious to see if there's going to be any multiverse stuff going where, hey, weren't you the guy that runs the Quicksilver guy?
Man.
But Tim, Bad Batch. You watched it.
I did.
This
is a reversal.
This is a reversal. It's my fault this week, guys.
That's right.
Because with the Astonishing Times announcement, and then I'm also, it was Memorial Day weekend.
Yep.
Astonishing Times announcement. I'm actually also prepping for my daughter's turning 4 here, so I was prepping for that.
Yep.
I just got lost in the weekend, and I just didn't watch it. And I'm at the point where I'm like, I got this far. I just got to wait like 2 more days, and I could watch 2 back to back. So now I'm just waiting out.
I don't know. I don't think I can accept these excuses because my son's birthday was on the release of the Astonishing Times. My son had his 11th birthday on Memorial Day weekend. All right, so
but you didn't watch it till you didn't just watch it till yesterday though. You watched like 4 days after.
That's true. All right, I'm busted.
To be fair, I had the time to watch it last night, but I'm like, again, I was
might
like,
as well just wait and double it up. And I will say. That's probably a good decision because it's 5, right?
5.
Episode 5, it felt so short.
It was 20 minutes.
It's 20 from the beginning to where the credits roll. It was 22 or 23 minutes.
Yeah, see, it's super short.
It feels because it's a good episode,
so it goes fast.
It felt extra short. And so I won't say anything about what it is or anything like that. No spoilers. But I will say it was a very fun episode, and it had. Kind of like a lot of the things we've talked about Dave Filoni, it had a really fun addition to Star Wars in it. Kind of brought back a character from a film, one of the original films, and then gave us some depth. So that was really fun. It made it a very fun little. It was a good episode. Watch it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I get to watch it back to back. I did watch the New Mutants though. That's what I chose to watch instead.
Yes,
I finally got around to watching the New Mutants, and.
Was that better than Bad Batch?
Oh my god! I don't like to if I don't enjoy something. I don't like to bash anything. I will just say, I guess there's a reason why there wasn't a lot of talk about it. Is what I will say because it wasn't. You kind of came and went, and it wasn't my favorite thing ever.
Yeah,
to say the least.
It goes into the category of movies I haven't seen on purpose.
Well, there was a lot of weird decisions, like Lockheed, who, as we know in the comics, is Kitty Pryde's dragon, right? For some reason, they decided to make her Magic's dragon, in the movie. Why? I don't know. Maybe because Kitty Pryde and Magic are in a New Mutants comic together currently in the comics or recently in the comics. So they're like, hey, it's an easy transition. We want to give her a purple dragon. There was just a lot of weird choices. And then just like, I don't know. It didn't do it for me. That's it. I'm sure people may have liked it. For me personally, it wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many issues with that movie.
Yeah,
and how many times it got pushed back, and
it was directly tied.
How long was it made before they finally released it? Was it 3 years?
Oh, I don't know, because it was with the whole merger of Fox and
that definitely delayed it even further.
But it was supposed to be directly tied to the X-Men universe because they mention in the movie. I know you haven't seen it. But several times, like they bring up Professor X, they bring up the X-Men, how when they're older, they get to join the X-Men. So this, if this was successful, it would have gone straight to, the X-Men universe with Hugh Jackman and all that stuff like that. So really, it's in that world. So weird.
Well, that didn't happen.
Yeah, no. Because Fox's X-Men is also kaput. He's gone.
It's Kaputski.
It's Kaputski. That just reminds me of the Jack Frost animation cartoon. It's like, what is it? The Knickpicks or whatever, the ice coins they make or the money they have.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it.
Oh man, the Kapuchnik. Kapuchnik?
I don't know.
It's a Kapuchnik. Oh, that's a holiday classic.
It's before my time.
But J.J. Abrams, Tim.
Dude.
JJ.
I know that some people are blowing this out, but for me,
I feel like people are blowing it a little bit out of proportion.
And I don't disagree with you. I think to some degree, everybody was kind of taking what he said and ran with it to some degree. Or running with it and trying to make it bigger than what it actually is. But I will say, and what we're talking about, if you didn't know, J.J. Abrams actually did a recent interview where he talked about some of his films that he's been involved in over the years, including Star Wars. And he made some interesting comments, that implied that he was acknowledging that there was not really a plan when it came to some of the projects he's worked on, maybe even Star Wars?
Maybe even, because he didn't say Star Wars.
He did not specifically say he was referring specifically to Star Wars. However.
But he also didn't say, like, he didn't do it to any other project. He basically just said, it's not good not to have a plan, is what he said.
That's the big thing.
In general, is what he said.
That's the big thing. He said there's nothing more important than knowing where you're going. Now, how many times have I said that on this show?
You know what? For me, you know what I think he was referring to even more so than Star Wars? Lost, because he also worked on Lost.
Absolutely,
and that is one of the biggest shows ever. But we all know that the reason why the finale didn't resonate with its diehard fan base is because there was clearly no plan.
They had no idea.
No plan. So I feel like with that and then Star Wars, there's multiple reasons why he could be saying this.
There is, I mean? But I look. J.J. Abrams is a really smart creator. Right? He's a very, very smart storyteller. He knows, bro, that they dropped.
Why did I turn all nanny on there? What just happened to me? I was just like, I couldn't let that go. I'm like, why did I sound like that? Like, what's going on?
It's like a laugh machine gun. But yeah, he knows he had to clean up kind of a mess. A little bit, because not so much just because of what Rian Johnson did with his The Last Jedi, right? But rather that Disney chose to clearly shift gears after The Last Jedi.
Yep.
So Disney was trying to appease fans, make people happy, bring some fans back into the fold that were very unhappy after what Rian Johnson did with The Last Jedi. And this is not a statement of my personal opinion, although to some degree I will say, and I have said, I wouldn't have gone in the direction that he went with The Last Jedi. There was things that I liked and there was things that I did not like at all. But again, that's my personal opinion. But Disney clearly recognized there was some real unhappy Star Wars fans out there.
Yeah.
After some of the things that was done with The Last Jedi and the direction that it was starting to go. And so they decided they were going to shift gears and attempt to, kind of have it halfsies. Right? Trying to appease the OG fans while still maintaining this kind of.
But it was too far gone.
It was
too far gone.
Because you either had to see it through to the end. Yes. I think. You know what I mean? It was like, look, man, the course has been set. You either got to see it through now.
I mean,
or you just gotta. You're gonna create a mess.
Even in The Rise of Skywalker, there was still a lot of decisions in that alone with the course corrections. You're like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I think that's the result of them not knowing what they were doing. So this idea of they set out on a trilogy on with one of the biggest franchises in cinematic history, right?
For sure,
in
easily.
film history. They set out on this journey of a new trilogy without any roadmap of where this was going from start to finish, right? That doesn't mean you need to know every plot point. You need to know every single device. You need to know every single character that's going to appear. But you sure as heck need to know what the heart of the movie, what the heart of the trilogy is, what the general through line is, and most importantly, where you're headed, what the end of the line is.
And what JJ could be alluding to is that they didn't have that.
Yes. And him specifically saying, there's nothing more important than knowing where you're going. And I couldn't agree more with you, JJ. I could not agree more.
But it's also like, why did you take it then if that's the reason?
I think that he was hoping, because he's the one who started the trilogy.
So you thought he just wanted to finish it out?
And I think he was hoping to be able to salvage it.
Because if I remember correctly, he was supposed to do the first one.
Because I don't think Rian Johnson did. Like, of course,
wasn't
J.J.
Trevor
Abrams will never say that.
Trevor, what's the director's name? Trevor.
Now you just made me totally forget. As soon I knew his name, and as soon as you said that, his name went right out of my head.
But he was supposed to do the last one.
Yes.
It was supposed to be Abrams, Johnson, and Trevor.
That guy.
Yeah, sorry. You're a good director. We like you.
No, see, I'm not going to do that to my boy there, because he's actually worked on Jurassic Park too. So.
Yes, he did the Jurassic World.
Yeah. Now I have to
IMDb.
find him and do him the appropriate justice.
That is true. We can't just not credit him.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was supposed to be the original setup, but then once we got to Rian Johnson's film, it had such I guess you'd say backlash. That's what it was, right?
It really,
that they were like, oh wait, it was kind of like a DC thing, right? Where they put Justice League out and all that stuff, or these movies out, and they're like, whoa, wait. No, BVS is kind of what really did it, right? It was so like polarized. You're like, wait, we'll course correct, and then they brought in Trevorrow. There we go. We'll course correct. And then it kind of just made everything a mess, right? Where that's kind of what they did with here, where they're like, "Oh, you didn't like it? Dang it! We do need your money. We'll try to fix it. We'll try to fix it." And they're like, "Abrams, come back, because Force Awakens was, received mostly good, right? So maybe you should come back."
Yeah, and again, I don't think J.J. Abrams would ever say this out loud. You know what I mean? Because these guys are all friends, understandably, and they're all creators, and they understand. Like you don't bash another creator's work.
Yeah, we don't even talk the whole New Mutants thing. I don't even
we all kind of hold to the same code.
Yeah,
right, because we're all content creators, just in varying degrees. So
because no one's purposely setting out to make a bad story.
Exactly,
it's not on purpose.
It's just that and this is for me. I think this is more on Disney and Lucasfilm than the creators and the directors and the writers themselves, because they're just going to pitch their idea. It's up to Disney, Lucasfilm to recognize.
You're saying it's Kathleen Kennedy's fault.
I'm not going to say any names. I'm just going to say the company.
Who runs Lucasfilms, huh?
But it's like, it's up to them to recognize this isn't going to work with what we've already set out on. Yeah. So Rian Johnson came with an idea, and it's up to the producers and the executives to look at that and say, that's too far. I like your idea, but that's too far outside of what we've already set out on, or that doesn't align with where we want to take this trilogy and where we had already, we'd already set out on a road here.
It's so weird to me why they just would, because Lucas had the story, he had it all. It's weird that they just wouldn't have, it was done, like the outline, the bulk of the work was done. They could have just handed it to a director and be like, this is the outline, just, stick to the main beats here.
They didn't,
and make it a little bit your own.
But they clearly wanted to get away from Lucas's version of Star Wars.
The reason why he was able to sell it for like $4 billion. What do you mean?
It's so weird, but it's the executive team that took over Lucasfilm when Disney bought the company.
That stuff
they clearly wanted to get away from Lucas's. That's why Lucas was unhappy.
That's what's so funny. Like, you're the same company that was willing to spend, what was it, $4 or $5 billion for it, was like, because they knew how valuable it was because of what he did. They're like, oh, the only reason why it's even worth this $5 billion is literally because of the guy we're buying off of. But he doesn't know what he's doing. Let's change it. We literally paid him $4 billion for it, but let's not listen to him.
I don't think it's that harsh. I don't think it's that harsh. I think it's just that
fun
they
to think
said
about.
that this is what, this is what they did. That was for that generation. We want to create a Star Wars for a new generation.
It's an interesting thing. Like when you look at it like so like plain and like layman's terms like that, it's like kind of funny where it's like we're literally paying you $4 billion for what you created, but we're not gonna listen.
but we hate.
Like
but we hate it.
But we're literally. Oh my god! Why have I never thought of it that way? That's so funny. Dude. Oh my god! They gave him so much money, and then was like, "Well, you don't know what you're talking about." That's so funny.
Yeah, it's kind of like, thanks for the note, George.
Now again, I'm like, I'm sure it wasn't like that, but it's really funny to think of it that way.
Because I do think that they tried to honor like the legacy of Star Wars. They just wanted to take it in a very different direction for a new generation.
What does he know? He just created it.
Oh, he's just the mastermind of the entire thing from start to finish. But the thing that I always thought was so interesting, and that was the thing that perplexed me the most about the trilogy, was as excited as I was for it, I never really understood the concept that they set out on, where they were going to hire 3 separate directors, each of whom got to write their own Star Wars movie.
Yes.
I never got that concept, because it was like, look, unless you are going to bring in somebody, there is a full roadmap laid out. And after I saw The Last Jedi, it was abundantly clear that that was not the case.
Right.
This was literally, this filmmaker set out to make this movie because that's the one that they wanted to make. And then this filmmaker made his movie because that's what he wanted to make. And after The Last Jedi, we talked about it openly here, is like, how the freak are they going to end this now? Right?
Yeah.
We had no idea. So JJ came in, and I think that's probably why Colin Trevorrow ended up leaving. And then, of course, they always say it's the same, creative differences spiel. But probably what ended up is like what he just did. I wrote mine based on a certain through line or idea based on what JJ did with The Force Awakens. And then what you're letting Ryan do, because I think he left the movie while Johnson either was still doing The Last Jedi or it was shortly after.
Right.
And the arguments were most likely in the vein of like, my entire story that I had lined up with where we started, and now with what Ryan's doing, it just blows up so many elements of my story that it's not salvageable. And I just don't feel comfortable with it anymore.
I mean, I'm sure. I feel like it's, for me personally, I think it was a little bit of everything. I think it was a little bit like maybe a little jab of Star Wars, Lost, but maybe it was like you were kind of saying earlier, it was just so strategic. Like it was a very political, PC way to be like this. Because he can't say that he wished they would have done this.
No.
He can't say, without, making one of his peers mad. So he could just
Yeah.
be like, story's always the main thing. You need to have a plan. And, us, the audience, will know it's wide, open information or, known information that there was no like beginning, middle, end.
Yes.
Which is like, again, it's now having like created, in my little, not something nearly as big, but in my little world, this comic series, this own universe that, I helped create. It's like, how do you not know? Because from the get-go, getting with, my co-writer, it's like, okay, this is where it starts, this is the middle, and this is where we're going to end.
Yep.
So, and then it's like, now let's fill in all, because that's what you have. Because I'll say the hardest part about a story, or at least writing a comic, was the outline for the issue. What's going to happen on every page.
Yep.
The dialogue is actually the easy part, because once you know what's going to happen, you know more or less what the characters are going to say.
Right, because you also have an idea of who your character is and what they might say in that situation.
Right, so a movie is a much bigger, grander scale than scale than a comic book. So it's like, how are you not going to do that for a movie?
Yeah.
How are you not going to have all your little beats and then, fill it in? That's crazy.
Again, it was like they got their hands on, the cookie jar, and they just took off running with it without checking to see what was in it. You know what I mean?
We got to get the milk.
Yeah, they had no idea where they're going. They just, it's just like, it was very interesting, the way that they handled the first trilogy. And again, there were things that I really enjoyed about the first trilogy, and there were things that I didn't like so much. There were some things that I really wish had been different, like the whole, i.e. laser sword. I could have done without that for the rest of my life.
They mentioned that in the prequels as well too.
I know.
Like that's a Lucas thing.
Yeah, sure.
It never bothered because I believe I'm starting to watch all the Skywalker saga again.
It was the way that Luke did it.
Oh, it was the way he said it, not the word laser sword itself.
Yeah, it was the derogatory laser sword and that was coming from Luke Skywalker. It was ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
I hated that with all my heart and soul. And I've made no secret, I did not like what they did with Luke Skywalker at all.
I mean, I think that's most people's biggest complaint.
Especially for any OG Star Wars. That's like a universal sentiment.
Which made the Mandalorian season 2 finale so much better because it's redemption.
Yes,
redemption.
Yes. And I'm hoping that that's only the beginning. But yeah,
Sebastian Stan, we're talking to you, buddy.
That's right. You need to put some weight back on after your Tommy Lee outing.
That I'm excited for that.
I'm like, whatever.
For those of you,
it's like a weird biopic for me.
Yeah, it's a Pamela Anderson, Tommy Lee Jones biopic about like their relationship. It's like a limited series on Hulu. But what is it? Lily, what's her name? She played Cinderella in the live action movie.
Yeah,
Lily James.
Lily
James. She's playing Pamela Anderson, and dude, she posted it on social.
I saw
she
you after you said it.
Looks like Pamela Anderson. It was like wow. And Sebastian Stan looks like Tommy.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job with it.
I'm excited. Well,
I mean, in terms of like their look,
I think like most '90s like boys, like Pamela Anderson was like, oh, she's pretty good looking, huh?
Yeah, that happened.
So I'm excited to watch that biopic just because of nostalgia, I guess. Be like, oh wow, yeah, she was a big thing in the '90s, huh?
Yeah, I heard that it was being made, and I saw that they were shooting it, and I was like, wow, what a weird.
Plus, it's Sebastian Stan and Lily James. They're two of my favorite actors, so I'm like in on that alone.
I just thought it was just such a weird thing to. It's like somebody invested money.
Watch
making this a biopic.
I mean,
it might be. I don't know. It's just that was a weird one for me. I did not expect that to get made.
Yeah, they're all about rock and roll, sex, and drugs, right?
Yeah. But in conclusion, J.J. Abrams did not directly. He did not directly address Star Wars as what did not have a clear plan, but it was certainly in the implication.
For sure.
Yeah. And that for me it was like, thank you. Thank you. So thank you for at least letting us hinting at it's not us.
Right.
It's not you. It's me.
But let's wrap up with a good topic, Tim.
It is a good topic.
Joker. We love him.
We do.
My favorite villain.
Yes.
The Joker solo movie starring Joaquin Phoenix, directed by Todd Phillips. One of the best DC films in many years, right?
Easily.
One of the best performances, I feel like,
of all time, maybe.
Yeah. So much so, there was talks of a sequel very early on because it was received so well. And now it's not confirmed. It's not confirmed.
Not officially.
Not officially, but there's sources and lawyers very close to the dealings.
Yes.
That Todd Phillips has signed on to script the second Joker movie.
That's right. And if he signed on to script, which is pretty much confirmed,
yes,
through the conversations that have been had and the reports from the Hollywood Reporter, if he signed on to write it, they're making it,
and he's going to direct it.
Because that's not like some spec script that somebody's working on just to see if they can get it greenlit. It's the sequel to easily one of the most well received DC films,
Oscar award winning.
Yeah.
Like Joaquin Phoenix won an Oscar for his portrayal of the Joker.
That makes the last two Jokers, right?
Oh my gosh.
That makes the last two live-action Jokers.
It's one of those roles, huh? It's like,
well,
in the sense that because the Joker as a character, he's such a crazy person that, if you're going to do him right, if you do the Joker performance right, it's going to lend itself to an Oscar-winning performance just because it's going to be so whoa, you literally turned into something else that everyone's gonna be like, holy crap. You know what I mean?
Oh wait, we forgot one. So it's two out of the last three.
We
forgot about Jared Leto.
Right, but that one, not so many.
That's why I said, well.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Well, because it's all about the casting.
Oh, okay. I don't want to harp on it, but I said that's why if you do the performance right.
Yes. And and again, that's about the casting.
Yes.
I do not blame Jared Leto for my not liking that version of the Joker.
Although,
I don't blame him.
The
That's
Snyder
casting.
Cut, I liked his bit at the end of the Snyder Cut in the epilogue.
It was definitely better but it's still Jared Leto's Joker.
Yes, but
like if you took that same Snyder's version of it and you made a whole movie about that, it would probably still annoy me.
Really? I don't know. I think I would like him.
I mean, that scene was cool, but I think it had more to do with the interaction between Batman and the Joker than the Joker himself.
But if they did it too, that's what it would be like the whole movie, right? Because it's basically they're helping each other out. So they would have that banter. They're working together, quote unquote. So they would have that banter throughout, and ultimately Batman would kill him like he said he would.
Yes. No, from a story perspective, the story perspective isn't the issue. It's it's
like what you're saying is it's not that Jared Leto's...
It's the style.
It's not right. It's not that he's not a good actor or that he's a bad actor. It's just that
that's crazy. He's amazing.
It's even like, an amazing actor like Jake Gyllenhaal or someone wouldn't be good in certain roles just because.
Exactly. It's all about the casting.
Right. Yeah.
And that is, again, that's not on the actor. That's on the executives. That's on the casting director. That's on the producers, the directors, the casting director.
That's true. I think a lot of people don't realize that just because you're a good actor doesn't mean you can play any character.
Anything. Yeah.
Right? It just means you're good at a lot of things, or maybe just really good at this one or two things. You know what I mean?
For instance, would you cast Rosie O'Donnell to play Mary Poppins? No, you wouldn't.
Wait, are you saying she's a good actor in her own right? Just on anything?
I think that Rosie O'Donnell in her day, I haven't heard from her in a while. She was incredibly funny, incredibly entertaining.
League of Their Own?
Dude,
she was great.
We just watched Sleepless in Seattle.
Oh, she was
a couple
good
of months
in that.
ago. She plays Meg Ryan's friend.
Yeah.
And she's just so likable and lovable
she
on
in the
screen.
Flintstones? She played Betty.
Yeah, she played Betty Rumble.
Oh my God! And League of Your Own with Tom Hanks.
Oh my God, she's amazing.
Yeah. Okay. I'm on the Rosie O'Donnell train now.
Okay, so there you go. So, but my point is that, and again, I'm pulling like just a crazy
weird pull to be like Rosie
whatever.
O'Donnell.
It was right there. I don't know why, but you wouldn't cast her to play Mary Poppins because she doesn't fit. Right. She, and that's true across the board. And that is up to the producers, the directors, for the casting director first and foremost, and the casting team to say, okay, is this a good fit based on what they're trying to make? And then the producers and the directors have to make that call. And I just think that, and I'm not alone on this. I think that for a lot of people, Jared Leto was
his performance is extremely
version
polarized.
of Joker was not the most well received. So it's certainly my least favorite.
Oh, for sure. But
Joaquin Phoenix's version of the freaking Joker
but
was some bat crap, crazy, unbelievable, transformative stuff.
Dude, him and our boy, Heath Ledger. There we go. I can't believe I almost forgot his name.
You forgot him.
The man. It's one of those things too, where like it automatically begs the question, which one's better? But they're like so different takes on the Joker, right?
Yeah, very different.
Like where Heath Ledger's is the more like classic gangster, almost kind of like not nice, but like fun Joker in a weird sense, where he's evil, playful,
like the sadistic,
right?
But he's like, he's got that playful circus clown element.
Yeah. Where Joaquin's is just like an exploration of like mental health.
Yes,
where it's just like, you just felt like gross at some points. You're like, oh man, like people like this could like exist, where they're just like society has pushed them so far gone, or X, Y, Z reasons in their life has pushed them so far gone that like they just want to watch the world burn. At this point, you know what I mean?
That movie was literally the examination of a mind devolving into madness.
Brilliant.
It was brilliant. And the way that Todd Phillips wrote it first and then directed it, and the way that Joaquin Phoenix grabbed hold of that concept and then just brought it to life.
It's because Joaquin Phoenix, I love the man.
Remarkable.
But you have to be crazy to play crazy like that.
No joke.
Like he's got to be like at least 10% crazy.
And we said it when we saw it. I was like, hi, does anyone have eyes on Joaquin Phoenix? Because that you cannot be normal and do
that's what I'm saying. Like it's acting, but like you can't make that up that much, right? Like it's some of that's got to be in there a little bit, right? Like at least not saying he's crazy, but you know what I mean? You have to be close.
You're pulling that crap from somewhere.
Exactly. Like maybe something happened in his life where he's pulling those emotions from somewhere to be able to pull that off and be that believable. Because, if he was to act like that in public, I'd be like, oh no, you literally need to be in a straitjacket. Okay, this isn't this is real. So, I mean, but good on him, man. He's,
It was remarkable.
Joaquin Phoenix, man.
Remarkable performance.
I'm curious to see where they would go from here. And like now he's the Joker, so that they just keep going.
Well, where they left us was the Waynes getting killed in the alley.
So are you bringing Batman in now? Like, what are you doing?
So to write a sequel, I mean, where we left off, Bruce Wayne is a child,
Yes.
right? But in his world, Todd Phillips' Batman world, the Joker is essentially responsible for the creation of Batman.
Well, there's all these weird theories too, like if it was all a dream, or is this even the Joker as we know it? Like this could be the guy that inspired the Joker. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, true.
I don't know. There's lots of ways you can go with it.
And how does Joaquin Phoenix follow that up?
I don't even know.
Like, as an actor, if you're an actor, right, and to the depth of kind of mental anguish, the physical transformation that he went through, all of that, right, to have to go back there, that's got to be very straining.
I'm excited though.
I am too.
I'm excited.
I'm wondering how
you're concerned for him for his
health.
I
am. I'm just
it's gonna kill him.
I wonder, like, if he'll, like, it's like, I just think about it from a creative standpoint. It's like, if you're an actor, would you want to do that again?
I'll tell you what I want to do. I want to be on set for the second time. I would love to be on that set. Can you imagine?
Wild. That'd be great.
Just shut your mouth and watch him go to work.
No kidding. I would have given anything to have been a fly on the wall in that bathroom when they shot that scene and they couldn't get it to work, the one where he comes in after having murdered the two Wall Street guys.
Yeah, because that was all like on the fly. It was like,
because they couldn't get it to work and they couldn't figure out how to make it. They couldn't. Neither Joaquin Phoenix or Todd Phillips were happy with it, and Todd Phillips and him, if they just went in private and locked themselves in the bathroom and they just kind of worked it out.
Well, Todd Phillips went in there with the camera.
Well, at first they were talking.
Yeah, then
he said, "Give me a camera." He said, "Give me a camera," and he wound up. It was just them. And they had music playing and the whole thing.
That score.
Dude.
I need to watch it again now. It's on HBO Max. Maybe
I just watched it not that too long ago with my oldest daughter.
I watched it with my wife, but she's not like a fan of like, stuff that dark. So it just left her depressed. And she's like, palate cleanser. Put on something funny.
Speaking of which, how is your Star Wars chronological
we're on Revenge of the Sith right now.
How's she making out? Is she making it?
The Phantom Menace she wasn't a fan of. She liked Attack of the Clones, and we'll see where Revenge of the Sith goes.
Okay.
But it's not like I use very loosely.
It's slow goings over there.
Yeah, she's never gonna be like, this is awesome.
Right.
But she will.
It wasn't like the end of my life.
Right. She's learning to tolerate it. Because for those of you who don't know, my wife is definitely not a nerd like me.
No.
Definitely. She is not, a bit. She likes the Marvel movies and stuff, but she's not like
crazy about it.
She's not going to be like, let's have a Marvel movie marathon. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, and it's like that across the board.
She's definitely like a rom-com.
Yeah.
Girly.
Rom-com. Yeah. Sci-fi in general, she's actually not that big on, which is just unfortunate for me, right?
That is.
I'm working on it.
But both of us we kind of both have that, because my wife, she likes nerdy stuff. Mm-hmm. She likes it more now because of our kids. So my boys especially. Once my boys were big Star Wars fans, she started liking Star Wars more and stuff like that. But she's really big into horror. My wife.
And you're not.
And I'm not.
Yeah. So you have the. Yeah.
So we kind of deal with the same thing, just in a different way.
Yeah, my daughter though, lucky enough, she's actually turning 4 here really soon, and she seems to be like she's gonna love all that stuff.
She's gonna be your buddy. Yeah.
She's gonna be my buddy. She's gonna watch all the Star Wars with me and like all the Marvel stuff. So like I got one, but our youngest one, she's only 9 months, so it's too hard to tell. But like she's already like you can kind of tell when they're that little. Like she's already the chicken. She's really skittish. Where
she's gonna
my
be
older
more
one wasn't like that. She's gonna be more So it's like we're each gonna have one. So I guess we'll be in our separate corners in the house.
I lucked out in a way. I don't know if I just had a really big influence on our kids. All 4 of my kids, they're all on my camp.
Good for you.
All of them. They're all a bunch of nerds. Every single one of them. They're with me. They love Harry Potter, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, all of the Marvel and the superhero stuff. They're every single one of them. My 2 oldest kids are writing actual fantasy stories. They're all into that stuff. My youngest, one of my sons, is writing. They're all into writing and creative, but it's all like super geek, and so I lucked out on that. I love it. It's beautiful.
For sure. But I think that's a nice way to wrap up today's podcast.
It is, talking about family and the Joker.
And the family and the Joker.
It's a good mix.
But next week, I will have watched 2 episodes of Bad Batch.
Yes.
You will have watched the one.
I will be caught up as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then
I'll be caught up. You should catch up on Superman and Lois so we can talk about that too.
Oh, that's right.
You're behind on that as well.
I am. I'll have to watch that
and
too.
we'll also, on the next episode, we'll also talk about what's been going on with this AT&T spinning off the Warner
Discovery.
Media, and doing the merger with Discovery.
What we're saying is there's no shortage of things to talk about.
Never.
New stuff each and every week. But with that said, guys, we'll see you next time when we talk about all things comics.